Hey guys, I'm here. I want to check. I seem to be having problem getting my camera to be full resolution. Why isn't this popping up? Is it finally a Starfire? Okay, that seems to be decent resolution. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Why it changes. Let me move this out of the way so I can actually ink. And then we can check. Oops. So I'll be inking this page that I started yesterday. That's terrible. Look at that. My page is already splitting. No collector will ever want this page. Can you see where I'm at here? So, actually, I can. That is so small. So, how's everybody doing today? Afternoon. Huga, Zebulon, Popefire, Abyssus, Richard, Rooster Puncher, as Watson. Hey man, what's up? Mike Sarlo. Etc. Oh, good stories. Yeah, if anybody has stories, please let me know. Mike, I once saw two lights rocketing from a hospital while rays of light were shining on the building. WTF. Yeah, there's a lot of very interesting, inexplicable things. Okay, Jason Williams wants me to help launch his YouTube channel. It's Jason Williams, doing comics and illustration. Many thanks. So everybody go check him out if you've got the time and the desire. So yeah, boy. All right. So before we jump right into the topic, good afternoon, Egg. How are you doing, my friend? Mike, if you find that print, I'll buy it instantly. No Starfire, best Starfire. Sorry, bro. Finally, The Rock has come back to the Blacklist universe. Diablo, Arizona, $2. I saw a UFO on Uranus. Some Klingons too. That's just bad, man. That's. Was it Robbie Robertson? What's his name? That did someone post it on Ethan's page? I almost thought I was being lifted into an alien ship. Then I just realized I was farting. Damn you, Taco Bell. Hopefire. Abyssus, that metal Starfire is mine. I will fight you for it. So is the resolution, you think it's okay right now? Because it was really bad earlier, or last night. It was like super crazy grainy. And then even I watched the one from yesterday and it started off like really clear. Like, let me see. You can see resolution here. Grainy a bit. Gosh, that's not going to be good. See, that's decent resolution. I don't know why it's not. I mean, I can't drop this camera right down on front of my face. Mr. Puncher, appreciate you taking the time to talk today, Mike. Yeah, buddy. Well, you have a different, same logo. Yeah. This whole, I guess the new argument is, and maybe it's not new, but the latest anti-Comicsgate argument is that this is an unsustainable business model, and we're ignoring the direct market or all that fun stuff. Speedtest.net. Let me try that. It's probably going to be horrible. And it's kind of pathetic. I showed Brian Polito's Kickstarter history. I hit go already. And his Kickstarter history, I mean, he's. Can you turn it down a bit? Actually, I think I can hear the mic is more. You know, Brian's latest is like over $250,000. You know, you're winning when socialists start trying to talk economics. It's true. Let's see. What is my upload speed? Ooh, my upload speed is 1.63 megabytes per second. That's no bueno. Your next clickbait title should be Mueller clickbaity. Yeah, Marsh didn't know anything about the market. That is low. I know it's low. It's low. I don't know what to do to make it better. Go to someone else. It's AT&T. Change server. AT&T. Tijuana. Cox. Become a host. I wonder if Cox was faster. Who came up with that counter argument? D. Claymore. I don't know. It seems to be, you know, these guys. They must have some little, you know, gathering place where they get together and say, how can we try to stop, slow, or destroy Comicsgate. And so this is just their latest avenue. Is it Discord? Yeah. And yeah, they're just like, you can't sustain this model, and you're cannibalizing, you know, your own sales. You know, I understand the arguments, but what they don't understand is that they are. I mean, we're trying to grow a market here. And we are growing a market. Every single day, I hear from new people saying that we brought them back into comics. Gosh, even upload speeds on Cox is 1.35. So I don't know how to make this any better. My cell phone may have a faster connection. Oh, that'd be sad. Huh? The stream is dropping quality due to bandwidth limitations. Like, yeah, their school, cultural Marxism. So, yeah, they're not understanding. They just think. I think they're thinking, you know, the direct market can only handle so many people, and if we're sucking up all this money selling comics for over $20 a piece, you know, then it's unsustainable. And you know, if that were the case, that would be true. But we're not just doing that. I mean, we're not just. This is like the very foundation stone of a whole new building that we're trying to create here. And all they want to do is tear us down. We haven't even seen what the building's going to look like yet, and they're telling us that it can't work because they're trying to dissuade us from the market. They tried dissuading us through calling us names, you know, bigots, alt-right, Nazis, whatever. Nazis.
Wow, bad grammar.
It's not bad grammar. It's just how some people pronounce it. I don't. But we are at the beginning. This is a whole new paradigm, and we're gonna figure it out. Everything now is not the way it's going to be in a year or two. We're going to find a happy medium. We're going to try to find ways to get more books into more hands and create the next generation of comic book fans for one and all. And, you know, we'll still point them back to the great comics of yore. We're not going to point them at the modern comics of crap and tell them to go buy those. But we bring in new fans. We'll definitely, you know, tell them what the good stuff is. And hopefully the creators of all that old good stuff will still get royalties from it. And and everything will be right in the world. And maybe, with just a little bit of luck and a splash of pixie dust,
with a little luck, we can
who dat?
it out. We can make this whole darn thing work out with a little love.
It is Douglas to Naples.
That's right. Hey, buddy. Maybe I'll draw too. You draw.
You're a noisy fella. Noisy.
I'm going to draw what you draw, but I'll do it really ugly to make fun of you. I'll do like this really awful comic page.
Making
Like,
fun
this
of
is
me
my
works out really well for you.
Oh, it's good. So are you done with flying saucers? That's what attracted me.
No. I haven't even started that yet. I was just talking about like the latest attack on Comicsgate, how they're all out there trying to say that this is an untenable business model now. So yeah. I think they're on a Discord server just trying to come up with ways to attack us every day. And
yeah. Won't be predict our failure. And what they don't understand is like failure is a normal part of business. They're like,
yeah,
no, this is going to fail. I'm going to go, no, did you know most businesses fail? And like the miracle is when they succeed. But if we fail, they'll go like, it's because of comics. I'm going like, nah, actually the market is really, you have a stock market crash and, no one's got money suddenly. So,
yeah, but I mean, a lot of them are like, you can't continue selling comics at these higher rates to, the market because it won't work, year after year. I'm like, Brian Pulido has been doing this for years.
Yeah, it's market driven.
Yeah,
it's what whatever people value and whatever they'll pay for.
Yeah, and I looked and he's only got 1,000 to 2,000 people buying stuff on each one. And his latest one, sorry, it's not even over yet. It's over $250,000.
Yeah, I've got 742 backers, and I'm at 43.9. I'm almost about to hit 44,000 with just over 2 weeks left. And this is my thing: is like compare the experience of buying one of our books with buying one of theirs. Yeah. With our book, like their book, you just go into a store, you're one of thousands, and the books are sitting there all piled up. Anonymous, there's a huge wall between you and the reader. And then look at ours. I smell the intimacy. I mean, I know it. Yeah. I've felt the audience. And so it's just a much more, I think they're buying a lot more when they buy the book. They're practically buying. I did a live stream from my house yesterday. Like I don't let people in stores into my house, but my audience can go there because they're like my funders. They get much more than the book. They get daily communication.
Yeah.
So I just think, will they pay that? Well, we see them at Comic-Con when you sign books. What are they going for? When you do sketches, head sketches for them, this is what you charge.
Yeah, it's funny because I was, I did that video. I saw you had one too about how to crowdfund.
Yeah.
And one of the vital things, I'm sure you have it in. I didn't watch your video. Sorry.
You gotta watch my stuff. It's terrible.
But one of them is trying to get influencers to peddle your stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you have to.
We are the influencers.
Well, your audience, when they retweet, every time they make a buy, they tell people they're buying it. And that's
no, but I'm talking about like YouTube influencers. They're
yeah.
very powerful thing.
Oh, yeah.
We are our own influencers. That's why this is a new market. You know,
yeah.
that's why this is a new model, and they don't get it. And
Yeah,
fine.
and people have
Yeah.
they've never had more expendable money for entertainment than
What?
today.
Yeah. Thank you, Donald Trump.
I'm back and tilted.
What you gonna draw?
I'm going to draw Nurkish. Not that I know what he looks like, but I'm going to draw him as I see him here. I'm going to see if I got to zoom in on this so I can make a mark.
All right. Well, if I need to, I don't know. I don't mind talking about this.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of it's the soup du jour for them. It's like,
Yeah.
why do they keep? We're so in their heads.
Yeah.
Ah.
You know that they can't but talk about us. Even Kurt Busiek is out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not saying anything like egregiously bad or anything, but it's the same argument. It's like, well, you know, where are these guys going to be in a year or whatever?
Yeah. Like boring. Let's find out together.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah. So I posted Brian's Kickstarter link to all of his successful campaigns, but we'll see if he ever responds. Kurt never responds to me.
Yeah, well, you respond to your fans.
Yep.
That's what counts, right?
Yeah.
And I would count myself as a fan. I think Kurt is a fantastic writer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny how we can separate that.
Yeah. I own all their stuff. That's because I'm the bigger man. I'm a lot happier too.
Except in girth.
In girth, yeah. I'm not that big in width. It's just I was cursed with height.
Diablo AZ, $2. Bigfoot Bill and Lone Star fighting vamps crossover.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
There we go.
Fun. And I could draw them realistic to match your style. I could do he doesn't have to look like a Tex Avery character running around in your world.
But if I did Bigfoot Bill, it would be in my style.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is we would have to meet somewhere in between, because some of that octopus anatomy may not work in real life. It should be fun to try.
Yeah.
But it'd just be slightly exaggerated. I make mine a little more realistic to meet you halfway.
Yeah, I'm gonna be just focused on Lone Star until I am done.
So you're dead.
How
far into the book are you? How far in are you?
This is page 31 to 48.
Oh, cool.
So I'm getting there. Did you hear Art T. Bear's announcement last night?
No.
Art officially quit Super Sons. He quit DC on one of their top titles.
Wow.
On Comicsgate.
Oh, good. So he's in.
Yeah. Well, he was in, but he's like, he's figured out that he can't do both just as a matter of time.
He took a jump.
Yeah. So, yep, both feet.
Oh yeah, he's awesome too. I
love that guy.
I've long liked his art. He's good. Nice guy. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep.
I just saw him buckling a little bit under the heat. I hope he can take the heat because, you got to get a thick skin.
Yeah, and he's new to this whole.
Yeah, I feel bad for the good guys.
Yeah,
the good guys who may not really be exposed to just abject hatred.
Yeah, because he was raised, keep this stuff to yourself.
Yeah,
don't discuss it. It's not light conversation.
Do you get some of that from your subscribers or your Twitter feed? Is like, look, I came in for comics, and do you have to talk about this stuff? You know, like they don't want to. I get some of that. Like they don't want to talk.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really? Well,
I have a very old audience. You know, a lot of them are from 20 years ago.
uh-huh.
And so when some new political fad comes up and now suddenly that's what we're all talking about, and they're like, you know, I don't want to talk about this political fad. I want to watch you draw.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, only about a third of my audience are Comicsgate. The rest are my legacy audience, and a lot of them, you know, are not on board.
Right.
So I don't want to lose them. So that's why I'm like, I lose some of them. I lose some Comicsgate if I don't do certain things. My audience is super mixed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the audience that I've always cultivated. And so I'm just saying, but I do get flack from them. I mean, like if I talk about religion too much, then they go, you know, I've always enjoyed, I don't mind you being vocal, but you were never this vocal. You know, and so there's a little bit of pushback there, like, hey, don't be so vocal. And then I'll just do drawing tutorials.
I will get the occasional, like someone says, religion again, or something like that. But
hey, that's the cost of admission if they want to watch you draw, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have never, ever, ever been silent about.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I talk about it every minute of every day.
Yeah, I don't either. But if you talk about it for 1 minute out of the day, some people will say it was every minute of the day. You know.
Yeah.
Do you have to? And I get the fatigue. I don't want to hear people talk about stuff that I don't want to hear either. You know?
Dude, you know what? It's funny. A lot of us are like-minded.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's still interesting to me. Because generally in life, I get super bored talking to people who agree with me all the time.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I even agree with you about that, Mike. That's how boring I
am. Yeah, echo chambers are so boring. I can't understand why people.
There's no tension, no drama.
Yeah.
Dramatic with people. Drama comes from conflict. You know that from story. You can't get drama from agreeing with the guy sitting there. Yeah. You know, it's like, that's why you got to talk about UFOs.
You know what? That's interesting. That perhaps is why the people on the left are so angry all the time. No. Think about it just on a psychological level. Because it is so boring.
We became their play toys because their play toys are so boring. They don't want to.
No. It's just so boring to agree with people nonstop that they have to find some way to bring a thrill into their life. So their thrill is hating.
Yeah. I'll go with something a little similar with that too, which I've always believed. I would say when you don't have a solid morality or a solid religion in your life, they long for that outlet too. And that's why it largely operates like a fanatical religion.
Yeah.
And they're very passionate. It's like that is their church. And see, I have an outlet for that. I have a church. So I don't have to bring that into my every aspect of my life. I have a pastor, I have a church. We know what sinners are. So I'm not trying to create sinners out of other people I work with. You know what I mean? And I do really think that that's why people say like, hey, the right and the left need to settle down. I'm going like, nah, kind of the left needs to more because they're more susceptible to this stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a jerk way. I just mean,
no, it
makes sense. And the facts flat out prove they're less religious. And so, and science has also proved that man has a place in his brain for religion, a hardwired place in his brain and heart for religion. So what are they filling with if they don't have religion? Well, of course, they're politics.
Yeah. Have you ever read Eternity in Their Hearts?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so you know the part in ancient China when their first belief was in Shang-Ti?
Yeah.
it's sort of the same argument, because when the Shang Dynasty said, you know, you're not allowed to worship God anymore, to the people,
Yeah.
You know, you did this for a few centuries, and then someone like Confucius comes along with a replacement theology, and they all just sucked it up.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a hole.
I love that you've read like all the books I've read.
Dude, I love them. I love any of the top tier thinkers. I'm all about.
Yeah. I mean, when I mentioned A. Wilder Smith the other day and you said yes, I turned to my wife. I'm like, wow, he's actually read it.
Yeah. And Hayek, and just I do deep dives, man. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love Hayek.
Yeah.
People don't. What I love about it is that it's so like matter of fact. I mean, it's a dry read, but you know, it's like it's like
short. It's short, so it's okay if it's dry.
Yeah, but it's from the, you know, on the ground perspective, like at the time. So it was like before. He doesn't say like, oh, these people are horrible, evil dictators, because we hadn't had that yet.
Right.
They were rising up, and it was like all of the socialists in Europe were like, yes, 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 let's give absolute power into the hands of these people who agree with us.
Yeah.
And and then what do you get? Then you get, you know.
Yeah. Now, one guy I want to read, who I should have read but haven't, is de Tocqueville.
Oh, I haven't read that either.
Yeah. So de Tocqueville is the same guy that they always mention right around Hayek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was, you know, early American, because he was a Frenchman who was just a huge fan of America. And sometimes some of these guys get America better than we do, you know.
Yeah.
And he talks about free market and all that stuff. He was all the big thinkers have read him, but I need to probably look him up next.
Yeah. Did you read the Gulag Archipelago?
Yeah.
I haven't finished it. That thing's so depressing.
It is. But I haven't read it all of it. No, not like that. But I mean, we studied it. So
yeah.
Yeah. And I've more importantly is look up all of Solzhenitsyn's speeches. You know, he made the tour. These guys argued. Yeah, I love looking up debate. Yeah. Like for me, the Lincoln Douglas debates and all that, that's what fascinates me. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a huge debate viewer too. Actually, even when I was a kid, just not even all that into politics, I would watch Crossfire.
Yeah. You know? I didn't know what any of them were talking about.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah, yeah. Buckley. Did he have Milt Friedman on? The Laffer and all those guys? Did they have Milt Friedman?
I don't remember. I didn't know who Milton Friedman was when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, he's the guy who I watch all his videos too. And Thomas Sowell is probably one of my favorite. You know, probably the greatest minds alive today.
Yeah. Did you read Black Rednecks and White Liberals?
Oh yeah, that's practically a banned book. You know, Black Liberals. It is so good. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. And you'll get a little dose of you'll get a great quote from him every day.
Nice.
On the free market and stuff. It's good. It's really good.
New game. Find a book Doug hasn't read.
Oh, there's a ton. I haven't read a ton. I haven't, so Thomas Wolfe is a writer we should all read. I've only read The Discarded Image by him.
I haven't read it.
I need to get Bonfire of the Vanities and all that.
I got a super chat here. Hold on a second. AZ Robson for Canadian $10. You guys brought me back to comics after a long, long time. I tried to come back a few times, but the nihilism in the industry drove me away again. Now you're doing things that resonate. God bless. Yes, this is my favorite message. I hear it every single day, and I never, ever get tired of it. Yeah. The prodigal reader is returning because of Comicsgate.
Yeah.
We are restoring an industry that they have been destroying for 20 years.
Yeah, they'll have fun too. Wait till these books come out, man. They're gonna get piles of them. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good next year.
It's gonna be great. Dave
Gonna
Mustaine's
be-
book is a great read. Yeah, Dave Mustaine's a Christian. You know who Dave Mustaine is?
I don't. Who dat? How would I know him?
He's the lead singer for Megadeth.
Oh yeah. Okay, I knew he was a Christian, but
Yeah,
is he?
he's actually a friend of mine is his next door neighbor.
Oh, cool.
He watches his horses when he goes out of town.
He's the redhead guy, right? He used to have
Yeah.
the long red hair. Oh yeah.
I think he still does, but I haven't seen a picture of him lately. But yeah, sounds like everyone thinks it's a great read. Maybe we should pick that up and do a reading together.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I read Chesterton the other day by my pond, and that was a very popular video.
I've never read Chesterton. I've heard of him over and over and over again, and I've never gotten around to it.
I have a reading group at my house of Chesterton men one Sunday a month, and we have cigars and whiskey, and we read Orthodoxy is what we're going through.
Oh, wow.
The guys bring snacks, and it is a blast. And I've read that book, that's how I really became close with Ethan Nicole and Mike Nelson and Scott Derrickson and those guys. We were all Chesterton guys.
Yeah, Scott Derrickson. I heard he was a believer. That's
He is liberal,
oh,
but a very good friend of mine. Yeah. Yep. I love him. And a Chesterton fan. So yeah.
stop saying it. No joy from you.
No joy. No joy, just soy.
I'm depressed.
Oh,
This is what I've done to my child.
look at you. Look at your depression.
No one loves me.
So UFOs. This was totally clickbaity, but I wanted to use. I have had one experience where I actually saw an unidentified flying object,
Whoa.
and I did. Well, I just wanted to lead it into more of a
Yeah, what are they?
the Christian perspective. You ever seen any of you follow Chuck Missler, or did you when he was?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I went to Hollywood Press when he was preaching it. He did a Bible study there, so I've been there.
Oh, cool. Did you ever see his take on what UFOs are, or what aliens?
If I had to guess, I would say he would say they were demonic or angelic. I mean, yeah. Which I'm fine with that. In terms
Okay,
of,
well, first of all, my story. I was probably 18 years old. I don't remember why. It was just one of these crazy road trips that we just jump in the car and go. And I was sitting at a hotel or a motel, probably, soaking my feet in the pool, staring up at the sky. Perfectly clear sky. Could see all the stars, and I was watching this satellite float, across the sky. And out of the blue, it makes not a 90-degree turn. It makes almost a V type of turn.
yeah.
Shoots off at like Mach 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like makes a turn, banks, and just takes off. I'm like, whoa. And so obviously that's physically impossible.
Yeah.
Which is one of Chuck Missler's one of his evidences that these things are not physical.
Oh yeah, they defy the laws of physics.
They defy all the laws of physics. All of these different reports of the behaviors of UFOs, they're always doing things that are physically impossible. So he believes they are extra dimensional in nature.
Yeah.
If
I believed in them, that would be my explanation. But I don't believe in them. How's that? Well, I do believe that you see weird things, right? That you can't understand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we culturally have been told the story of aliens for so long that that kind of is naturally where our mind goes. And it really could be anything. Experimental craft, mysterious light. I mean, weird animal. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? There's a lot of explanations for it besides it must be demons. So
Right.
because of my worldview, I would think, yeah, if it's something like that, if it does actually exist, then I would say it's probably a demon, but I don't think it exists. But I'm almost certain it's not an alien. How's that?
Yeah.
By what they mean by it, you know?
Yeah. And oh, someone said holograms? Question mark. That's actually
Yeah.
You know, the whole hologram theory of reality that we could play in. But we're playing by the rules of physics here, I guess. You got to set ground rules. And are you leaving? My wife's all dolled up to go dance tango.
Yay.
Yeah. So his position, and you know, he's like, if you go through all of the documentation, all of the witnesses, I mean, it's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of very believable, I forget the word, you know, witnesses to if it's cattle mutilation or it's abductions, it's you know, there's no reason for I mean, obviously there's going to be some. What the heck? Ah, shoot, that's the male lady. Hold on a second, I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah. So let's talk aliens. Aliens are cultural. Like everyone's freaking out about aliens now. And then suddenly, after Close Encounters comes out, people see them more. So definitely weird stuff's going on. I'm not saying that they're aliens, but I do think, you know, the more you tell people about something, or if you're going to Loch Ness to look for Loch Ness, you might just see Loch Ness.
Nerd.
Yeah, there he is. Look at him. Hey guys. Hey guys.
I only believe in illegal aliens.
I only believe in illegal aliens, basically.
No, so he's making the point. If you actually take the time to go through all of the reports, it's like you can't just blow it off, right? You've got to figure out what the heck is going on. Yeah. And his I mean, I'm not going to go through. It's like 2-3 hour presentations he does on this stuff. But essentially, he goes back to Genesis 6, and you know what that is.
Yeah, Nephilim.
Yeah. Nephilim.
Yeah, and I think Chuck Missler's kind of squirrely. Believe me, I've been in Chuck Missler, deep in him since the late '80s. I have preached sermons on his, on his work and stuff, and studied him a lot. I just think he's a little out there. Like he's like the Art Bell of Christian pastors. You know what I mean? He's our Art Bell.
Yeah, that's why I got into that's why I became a Christian.
Yeah.
Because I was into that kind of stuff, and Chuck was like my entry point into. Yeah. But
so I'm just saying.
But he's
I'm a fan of all. I'm a fan of I've just listened to every preacher you can imagine. I just never felt the obligation to believe everything any of them said. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I like this guy. I don't like that. I do believe that. I don't believe that. And I don't mean in a cafeteria Christian way. I mean, I have a tight internal set of values and clock by which I measure these things. And I have a really big crap detector in the church.
Yeah.
So I'm once burned, twice shy, let's say.
Okay. Well, let's get to what he actually thinks.
Sure.
Or at least from what I can recall, it's been a while since I went there. And you know what? He was actually on Art Bell once.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, yeah. I know. And I would think so.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll start at the beginning. Chuck Missler's explanation for why in the olden days, oh, Sketch wants to come in. Hold on, let me send him, if I can get the link on. So Chuck, you know, he believes that, hold on, I'm gonna try to do this and talk and think all at the same time.
Just don't think. You can just turn that off. Just do it without thinking.
Shoot. Oh, my Twitter's so slow. Oh, you need the card, Jill. I don't have it. Where's my? Oh, I don't have any. Well, I might have a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Well, that, you know, all these people that are being abducted, it always seems to be about extracting their DNA or extracting their reproductive systems,
Yeah.
To try to create hybrids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And his hey, it's all right. I'm just saying this one. And he's like, okay, if you go back in time, you know, Adam and Eve were created in the perfect image and likeness of God, which means their DNA was perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So when the granddaughters or great granddaughters of Adam and Eve were hybridized with angels in, you know, Genesis 6,
6:4.
yeah, and creating the Nephilim. I can't. That's like a tongue twister. Genesis 6.
That's hard to say. Genesis 666.
They begat, you know, men of renown, the heroes of old, right?
Yeah.
But over time, and he makes the argument that what you get, you know, because DNA is a in shorthand, it's a digital code.
Yeah.
Right. And so the more you replicate any digital code, errors begin to creep into the code. You know, he uses the example of a Xerox machine where you make a copy and the first copy looks identical to the second copy, but then you make a copy of the second copy, and then you do this 1,000 times, and at some point it's just information loss, right? And so he says that by the time you get to now, you know, you have diseases, you have genetic abnormalities, you have all this information loss that has crept into the genetic code. And so now when these angels, demons, whatever you want to call them, are extracting our DNA in order to create hybrids, you end up with these sickly, you know, gray looking, you know, deformed alien type creatures rather than, you know, men of renown and heroes of old.
Sure.
So that's kind of, long story short, that's kind of where he takes it.
But still, you know, I don't think
it's all conjecture.
Yeah. My explanation would be if people were visited by these creatures or what they saw were those alien looking things, I would say it would be very easy for a demon to look like that. Very easy for him to, just a straight up demon. So it doesn't have to involve the DNA at all, even though we know about, you know, whatever the.
Yeah, but that's what he's just going based on the reports because that's what they're always after.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I just don't see the reports are. It is weird, right? How consistent all of them with the anal probes and being woken at night and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it would also be explained by a demon. A demon can put together a demonic culture where they go, we will be consistent on this alien story. We will look like this. We will do this all the time. So that this goes back to the hell's best kept secret is that hell doesn't exist. Right. Because a demon wants plausible deniability. So he would show up as an alien, let's say, and people would still not believe in hell or demons. Because as soon as, this is something that Derrickson once told me, because I was asking him, you know, hey, do you believe in possession, stuff like that? He goes, Because I've never seen anything, but if I ever did, my faith would be so secure. And I said the same thing. Like if I ever saw a cupboard like just open and close by itself, I would never have a doubt again. You know what I mean? So as long as you're kind of in this atheistic culture where no supernatural stuff happens, the demons can win. So why would they go around inspiring things that make people have faith? So one cover they may have could be demons.
Yeah.
I mean aliens. I'm sorry, aliens.
Their whole gig is deception, anyways.
Yeah, but note, and I just picture them because they're supernatural beings. They're very flamboyant. So the Missler story that they're somehow bound and have to work through our DNA. I'm just going, if a demon wanted to look like an alien, I think he could show up and look like an alien. And angels likewise can show up and look like us.
Right. And then deliver, the Quran or the Book of Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that goes a little bit into the alien abandonment theory, right? That they say, well, yes, God created the universe, all from one equals the Big Bang. And evolution is man from mud. And quantum entanglement is, in essence, omnipresence, right? So, science doesn't really lessen my faith. Science strengthens it. I mean, that's just my view.
Oh, yeah,
right?
me too.
So,
Rod. Doug, have you met Rod?
No.
Nope. Doug,
I think I spoke to him once. He probably doesn't remember me.
Where was it at, Rod?
I think it was here, or maybe no. I think it was here. I think it was here. It was a while ago. You were saying you don't like fanboys, and I was going fanboy on you about.
Yeah. No going fanboy.
No, I'm sorry.
It's not that I don't like fanboy. Here's my thing. The fanboys wish. The reason why they're a fan and they want to hang out with this guy. The fanboys wish is to be with that hero, but it's impossible for a hero to hang out with the fanboy and treat him as less than. Like you can't hang out with a fanboy and treat them like a fanboy. In the end, you have to get to a point where you're peers. So it's not that I don't like fanboy, it's that fans can come up and get a signature from me, but I'm offering my fans much more than that. I'm offering them my friendship. Like I'm letting them into my life is what I do. And I'm going like, why would you want to merely be a fan when if your goal is to hang out with us, then that's fine. But if you hang out with me, I'm not going to sit here and spend 3 hours with you about how great Earthworm Jim is.
No,
I ask you about, hey, how's your life? What do you do? What are you up to? And that's all I'm saying is I want to make a peer out of them, and they're trying to remain like with me on a pedestal. And I'm just going like, aren't you uncomfortable with that? Because I want you up here. I kind of want you up here with me so we can talk.
That's respectable. That's a respectful view a fan. That's a respectful way to view a fan as a peer, and or as a human, more than just this economic relationship.
My fans come up to me and they start asking questions like, "Oh, when you made Earthworm Jim on the second level, how did you da da da?" And I go, "Okay, now it's my turn. Where were you raised? Are you married? What do you like? What do you do for a living?" And they're like, and they go right back to Earthworm Jim. But I'm going like, look, you came to my booth, and this is a two-way conversation. And I know you want to talk about Jim, so we'll talk about Jim. But I'm in this conversation too, and I'm a bigger fan of you because you're a creation of God, and I'm just a cartoonist. So you can talk about my cartoon, but I'm going to do a deep dive into you.
Well, the thing there is, I was more a fan than a fanboy. I wouldn't remember the stages and stuff like that. I just like the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just giving you kind of my overall philosophy because I have very deep relationships. Some of my fans have become my best friends.
Now, I see great game potential in Bigfoot Bill. And I know it seems rough now, but I just see it, I see
it's going to work. I mean, my thing is I never know where these things are going to land. I have huge hits under my belt, none of them predicted. It's just Bigfoot Bill could blow up. Someone could buy it from me for $1 million for all I know. Or maybe no one in the whole world would have shown up for that Indiegogo for all I know. It's like either one of them, both of those have happened to me before.
Well, fan creativity and the tools to make games and all this kind of thing has improved drastically. Right now, Mike's son is making a Lone Star game, and you have people that know how to deal with sprites. If I'm not mistaken, I heard you say that you yourself know how to deal with sprites. Am I correct in this?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, then, some of these things, there are templates for making games that make this kind of thing easier. And what seemed like almost impossible a little while ago has become, almost inevitable.
Yeah.
As far as gaming and all this, I'm getting used to this Wacom thing. I just do a little bit of fan art, doing a little bit of fan art on Nasser's book. He has a little bit of an alien, a Lovecraftian alien that he has in his book, and it's about like this ship landing and all this. I don't know a lot of the detail. I just bought the book. I'm doing a little fan art here, like this thing in the woods. And getting back on that subject, there's like this alien abandonment theory. Like, yes, God did make all this physical, and he is that thing in between matter, right? What they call the infinite density of the vacuum. That's just this giant whirlpool of energy that presses us into mattering, that 1% that is space, and not just like the empty space between, you know what I'm talking about? That empty space between the atomic spin and all this, the protons and neutrons.
Yeah, I don't believe hardly any of that stuff. All the modern quantum theory stuff, which I've read.
Well, I kind of do it, kind of, I kind of do, and it strengthens my faith. It's like, well, what is this energy in between this, that this all sits in, that this all this this soup of a little bit of matter, and you can see when the atom splits and the energy that comes from all this, all that space in between is filled with something. Something is holding all that in place, and that quantum entangled energy. I call it God. I call it, dark matter.
No, but God's not dark matter. I mean, the God
that's a label, though.
Oh yeah, well, but I'm saying he is a unmade maker, and dark matter is contingent on a maker. So you cannot be both the maker and need to be made. So there is not. He is not made of dark. He's not interchangeable with dark matter or any material, because he made all the material.
I think that theory is based on all from one, though. I mean, all made from one, like from this energy that always, that's where it all grows from. Time and space itself, if you look at it from a scientific point, spreads from that center. Some people say, well, it's this many thousand years and that many thousand years. Time is relative. You can spend 6,000 years at the center of the universe and have 1 billion years go by over here at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So to me, science strengthens my faith. Now, aliens, I see a mix of things, because back in the day, UFOs were cigar shaped, back when dirigibles were a new thing, right? And then they were triangle shaped when the F-117 triangle shaped stealth bomber was around. And that's when people started going around Area 51, and then it all just got revealed. Look, it's this secret base. They got military stuff. So I think there's also like a combination of things.
Yeah.
Some people believe in this alien, and I can't give any of the credence 100%, except like, I believe in God, and I believe in, the sacrifice and all these basic things that hold morally true, beyond scientifical. But I also see the scientifical as, constantly proving what the Bible says.
Oh yeah, no doubt. The Bible is the revelation in word of God's will, and the earth and the particles and matter, that's the story he tells with physical matter. And if you search that world and study it, it will cohere with the Bible, because they have the same author. He didn't contradict himself.
Amen.
And what non-believers are trying to do is they're trying to use science against the Bible. Say, see, the science flat out proves that all the stuff's done. But they have to rip all the scriptures out of context And frankly, they have to extend science far out beyond its skis of what it's actually proven to pull that off.
Yeah, exactly. Very basically, it's the same.
Science itself becomes a religion. I mean,
That's scientism, and it's dangerous. You know, that's dangerous. You don't worship science. That's why we don't use asbestos anymore.
Oh, no,
Mm-hmm.
I
Fallible.
don't worship science, but I know plenty of people who do.
Scientism, methodological naturalism.
Well, that's if anyone remembers eugenics, that's when they use science for like a racial and economic redistribution of the people and to put laws against your reproductive rights and who could be where and why, who was a good investment or not, because science, that's not science, that's scientism, and it's a bad religion.
That's socialism. That's socialized medicine you just described.
Yeah, well, that was always their eugenics. If you look at the policy of eugenics, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. And how I see eugenics and socialism is basically state feudalism, right? We had this monarchic feudalism where a few people, they say led by God, but quite fallible, were told, no, you must do what this person says for the good of everyone. That stopped working. And ever since that stopped working, they use sock puppets like Karl Marx to sell state feudalism, where they have the same caste systems, where some people, are above others. But, it's the same thing. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Let me double check that real quick.
Art, are you still in there?
Hold on.
Art was trying to get our attention earlier, but Doug left.
I think he had a visitor or something like that. We just keep the ball rolling. So you were telling us about an experience you had, if I'm not mistaken.
Just a second. Art, if you're still there, I sent you a link on Facebook. So, yeah, go for it. Hot Rod?
Yes, I was saying that you were relating an experience where you saw something move at incredible speeds beyond,
physically impossible speeds. And it just fell in line with a lot of the other, UFO events, even some of the UFO stuff that's been caught on film. They don't work based on physical law. I mean, they can't work based on physical law,
Well,
don't act as if they can.
In that case, I would say that what we've got here is like a case that I can't, prove or disprove, right? I can't say, well, you didn't see it, you did see it.
All this stuff.
It was like a gaseous light or whatever.
No, dude, this is way up in space.
Okay. And it changed direction?
Yeah, like a.
Sorry, but I had to jump out for a second. An alien abducted me.
Well, he brought you back, and that's the matter. Cool. Unless you're, like a body snatched, the body snatchers.
I am Doug Tenaple. I am still here.
Whiskey said, Mike, the UFO you saw probably hit the dome over the flat Earth.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's why it's turned.
That is good. Hit the dome. He's like, no, you idiot. There's no such thing as aliens. That UFO hit the dome over the flat Earth.
There is like an ancient aliens theory that said, well, these people, there are these creatures that came to Earth and jump-started evolution or interfered with man while he was here.
It's Hangar 18. That's the Hangar 18 conspiracy that there were gorillas here. Evolving up gorillas, and then aliens visited, and they were, bald, and they looked like those aliens. But when they mated with gorillas, we were the halfway between them, and they had those bodies in Hangar 18.
Mated or pulled an episode 2 thing where they had some geneticist mix in a tube and make, that's their theory. I don't really follow that. But if I was going to entertain the thought as food for thought, not like a testament of my faith, just like doing this little thought experiment, it would be this thing where, well, these aliens, let's say they have an armada or something, and they need gold because they need something that conducts electricity or whatever, and they can't replicate it, so they go to Earth, and they have all these people digging for gold. And once they're done, they just leave, and all these people still worship them, but they just got what they wanted and, jetted It got out.
That's Cowboys versus Aliens.
It is? I didn't see that movie. I didn't. Was it good?
You didn't miss much.
I didn't miss much? Okay.
No. You want to avoid that.
That's one theory that goes around. There's another one that says that there were bases here for some kind of intergalactic war. This is where the Vishnus and the Vimanas and all these type of things come from. And there's all these different theories that, that kind of mix in, like this ancient aliens, right, to our modern world, right? But then there's this other theory. This is the weird one, right? Where they say that if these powerful aliens, right, that have all of this technology, right, would still need to infiltrate and disguise themselves to get into politics for whatever reason, or to get into like places of government and all this, which I think is just flat out ridiculous.
The lizard people?
The lizard people. I mean, come on. If they had this technology, they wouldn't need any of this. They'd just come with a big ship and say, we're going to blow you out of, like, the solar system if you don't do what we say.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, in some ways, a demonic explanation, and I'm not saying it's demonic. I have no idea. I don't believe hardly any of this stuff. But a demonic explanation makes more sense because the aliens that they talk about, the powers that they exhibit, and they do so much that they could easily just come and just dominate us with their little pinky. So they hide and sneak, but a demon who has a different agenda to work among us, I do believe that he to confuse, to be mean, to cover up for their existence. That's actually a rational explanation.
Yeah. I got a super chat real quick. $5. The Cobra Viper. Just a point of fact, science proves nothing. It can only support or disprove a hypothesis of understanding, but it is incapable of proving anything. That is the Cobra Viper, $5. Thank you very much.
Very cool. Fun.
Yeah, because science is something that should be able to be challenged, right? And these people treat science as unchallengeable, right? So whenever it says, oh, but science says, yeah, but science also said eugenics was right. And science always also said, sniff a line of asbestos, right? So, I'm not going to believe science blindly. I'm going to, have some internal moral compass in what I do,
if you want to take it on a very, very sort of a pedantic tact, are eggs good for you? Because science seems to keep changing its mind every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you make cereal and you're paying for the study, eggs are bad, right? Because I always look at those studies and say, who paid for that?
Yeah. True.
So,
there's bias.
There is bias
because scientists are human beings. That's why there's biased science.
And they get paid.
Sarah Whiskey says, science made it possible for the super chat to be read. Is that science or is that engineering? Because my dad was an engineer, not a scientist. And he's the one that helped us frickin' build the entire computer industry. So science as a part of as in the scientific method, what works, what does not work, was not so much responsible as engineering. And I'm a huge believer in engineering.
Because science just, states, well, these things are what we found during our tests. And the engineer says, well, how can I use that?
Yeah. And also that's the reason I like Chuck Missler so much, because my dad was an engineer and Chuck Missler was an engineer. So they're very focused on the facts at hand, even though Chuck he's a huge, speculator and conjecturist.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis said we always have to announce when we're speculating.
Right.
Like you owe that to the conversation. If you're saying something like, when you're talking about the Bible and you're saying this is canon, it's very different than when you say, now I'm speculating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where these things go, in the speculation category.
Yeah.
Because you would not say that you're sure that aliens are demons to the same degree that Jesus rose from the dead.
Right.
No, exactly.
Because then you start to discredit that message, and that's more what I'm trying to protect by being a skeptic. I'm a skeptic, but I'm a full believer in the resurrection. So I don't want people to ever accuse me of saying you just believe it because you want something that's easy to believe in or something. Like going, no, actually, I've got good reason.
Well, you got to be able to have that food for thought, right? You got to be able to entertain a thought without completely believing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That'll lead you down a road, a conversation, a place where you could come to new ideas and new understanding.
But G.K. Chesterton said that we open our mouth, to have a sandwich with the desire to bite down on something solid. So open to ideas is like opening your mouth. And the idea is if the mouth always remains open, then you're never going to bite. The goal is to bite down on something solid. And so there's some things that are so speculative that, I'll open my mouth for a couple seconds. And then when I don't bite down on something solid, I move on.
I liked his fight with Bernard Shaw because what I was talking about, they were in the era where eugenics was, starting to take shape and form and become policy. And it was becoming a very evil policy.
And Chesterton wrote whole books on eugenics and predicted Nazism, 6 years before it came. One of the only guys that saw it coming. And I'm a devotee to his writing, by the way. That's my discipline.
Well, he's a good man. I believe.
And by the way, another proof of how far we've fallen in culture is, George Bernard Shaw was a socialist atheist and Chesterton was a Catholic Christian, and they were best of friends. And they debated each other up one side. They did public debates. They did debate tours and just would tear each other apart in the funniest, jolliest way. Listen, if you ever get a chance to read one of their debates, it's fantastic, soaring rhetoric. And they considered themselves dear friends.
Well, that's like Dinesh D'Souza and Christopher Hitchens before you died.
Yeah, and Hitchens and Doug Wilson. Okay, Mike, do you mind if I do a little business here real quick?
Yeah.
Because I've got Bigfoot Bill is at 43,989.
I hate that.
I hate that. I'm just hanging there. It's like a hangnail hanging off your thumb.
Can I make a confession?
Yes, sir.
I have to wait till I get paid to get it.
That's fine. Yeah, I know. Money's tight for a lot of people, and there's a lot of people waiting to get paid. So I'm fine with that. As long as you come in by the end, I'm fine.
I have another confession.
Yeah.
I unsub for half an hour. I resubbed right after the show. But we do that a lot. You can't take that personal. We do that a lot, especially to Uncle E. I call him Uncle, he's close to my age. Yeah. But we do that a lot, and we bust your balls. But you can't. It's not. It's just sometimes we try to drive the conversation a little.
Yeah, it was emotionally overwhelming because Mike was in front of me, just having a tough time. That was what made it real. It's one thing if there's commenters and there's gamergators out there, but when it's about friends, and Will Callaghan is another guy who I don't know him personally, but I've been friends with him on Facebook, and we've gone back and forth talking about this stuff probably since 2014 or 15. So it was emotionally hard. And now when my emotions come out,
well, you probably don't know which one my Twitter is, but I'm Puerto Rican Army. Right?
Oh, you're my guy. No, you're my guy.
I always try to.
I didn't know that.
Retweet everything, or go straight from the YouTube and hit share, and then I see you
on my Twitter feed. I gotta say thank you. Yeah, I go. That guy is faithful. So,
well, I'm retired, so I don't really have a whole lot to do. But I did swear that I would defend, the basic trinity of American law, right? Of the constitutional republic. And that basic trinity is the right to free speech,
no doubt,
right to self-defense, and the right to own property, right? And since I see you guys at the forefront, I almost feel like a duty, like a responsibility to support, right? I know I'm free to support or not support, but I still got it in my heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I feel your support, man. There's a couple of guys out there who, like you, they retweet everything. There's one guy named Sean, the little R2D2 symbol. Sean?
Yes, yes, I think I know which one it is.
He retweets everything I do and retweets the Bigfoot Bill project every day. I went and looked on my Indiegogo analytics. The #1 referrer was Sean's Twitter. So there's some kid.
Do you have a reward for refer?
Oh yeah, I told him I was sending him a page.
Wow.
I said,
Awesome.
you're getting, and that was just out of the blue. It was just unmerited kindness. And I said, you're getting an original page. And he's all, really? I go, you don't understand how important this is to me. That I just thought that he was being so generous. I didn't ask him to, and so are you, by the way. I really appreciate it.
Well, to me, it's bigger than what it seems to you. To you guys. You guys speak of it kind of like, on a creator level, it's not the same as the customer, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm not a creator. I can't make something that will drive 100, 200, or 2,000 people to listen to me, right? To say the things I hear from you, right?
Yeah.
So as a customer, I'm appreciative beyond the Earthworm Jim game. I'm appreciative beyond the book because I support these campaigns. I haven't gotten a book. I don't have anything in my hand and say, oh, I'm supporting you because this thing that I have that I liked. It's because of what you're saying. It's because of what you're risking.
Yeah, what I didn't appreciate was some in the room were going, hey, you have to respect Comicsgate. And I'm like, hey, don't throw that shade at me. I respect them. I don't have to give my bona fides to anybody. It's
no,
like,
they just don't. We don't like being called socialist justice warriors.
I only said if you go down the list of what social justice warriors do, and I'm saying we must not do that. We must not do that. And so it was, and even the way that it was framed, that I basically called them social justice warriors. I'm saying this is what boycotts and shading people and group shaming and group unsubscribe, that is what they do and what they foment. And so I'm saying, and I'm not saying I'm not peer pressuring anyone to stick around.
Well, we usually resub in 10 minutes, I lost
200. What happened was I lost 200 subscribers.
Yeah, but since that point, how many have you gained?
Oh yeah.
Did they come back?
No, they didn't come back, but I gained 300 others. So what happened was, it's kind of a whole lot of, Ethan's audience is different than my audience. So it's kind of wrong to think that if I do Ethan shtick and I trace over him, then all of those people are mine. I would never assume that. Instead, what happened was the hardcore Christians of his Gamergate audience came over. And then the ones that he said, go subscribe to Doug, some of them were atheists or anti-religious people. And some of them came over and subbed. And as soon as I brought up God on my YouTube channel or whatever, they were all gone and the Christians stayed. So I'm just developing a slightly different audience than Ethan's. It's the Venn diagram. The overlap is either the Christians in the group or the Earthworm Jim fans who don't mind my faith, or, you know what I mean? Like we all have different audiences. You know what I mean? If
but within your audience, you're going to have all kinds too. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, exactly. So only 30% of my audience is Gamergate. And I have a certain amount of people who, when I
Gamergate or Comicsgate?
I'm sorry, Comics. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep doing that. It's Comics. Only about a third of my audience is Comicsgate. And as soon as I signed on to Comicsgate, a certain amount of my audience left. But you know what I mean?
Gates converge. I mean, I'm MovieGate. I come from Last Jedi. I haven't bought a comic in decades.
Yeah. I'm just saying that the fans that I have, and it's growing exponentially every day. It's exploding. I got 2,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel in 3 weeks. It's blowing up, and I'm at 43,000 or whatever on my YouTube. I'm happy as heck, but I need to curate my own audience, and some of them are Gamergaters. They're on board. I mean, Comicsgaters. I'm so sorry. Some of them are Gamergaters.
There are Gamergaters because some Comicsgaters come from Gamergate.
Yeah.
Some Comicsgaters
I've got
come
some
from MovieGate.
I've got SJWs in my audience and atheists and liberals and stuff. They're just like barely hanging on. they're going like, Doug, I got to say, it's hard to hang in here. And you know what I mean? These guys have been reading my books for 20 years. So I decided,
I understand that, but the left is not what it was, because the left was about ending, stopping endless war and stopping victimless crimes, right? And that's, you know, people that are in the center, I'm more centrist, can get down with that.
Yeah, but I'm saying that one of the rules of Comicsgate is do not criticize your audience. And so members of my audience, you know, if I have to choose between my audience that's been there for 20 years, or I have to choose for some gamer gators that come in and out, if I say, you know, a wrong word or something, I'm just going to
rule one is be yourself, because we're going to know if you're not.
that's I know, that's right. And that's the other thing, is like, people can smell a rat. I mean, they know if I'm like totally conceding my values just to try and make a buck off them. That just goes against my morals. You know what I mean? It's like, my job is to make a great comic, and I know my comic is good for anyone who picks it up. But there's some people that want, you know, a certain amount of a loyalty pledge, or I can't say certain words, and I believe.
No, I mean, like, just be yourself. If you're a person that swears, okay, I'm a fan of Yellow Flash. Yellow Flash will cuss. You know, I don't have a problem with that. I expect it from him. And there are people that like the Aloha Hour. I love the Aloha Hour, and I know there's no cursing there. There's different. Some people they'll respect you for who you are, and when you put up, look, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. These are my rules. Well, once we know that, it's okay. We can we have these rules we can follow. You know, we could be down.
Like last year, I was on the phone. I'm friends with Vox Day, and last year he said, "Never apologize." And I said, "No, my values are I always apologize when I'm wrong. I never apologize when I didn't do anything wrong."
Right.
And so I'm not, and there's people now demanding like, you will apologize. I'm just going like, I wish I could. I can't.
You know, I actually,
you can be sorry you hurt someone's feelings, and not be sorry what you did.
Oh yeah. But it's a false apology to say like, I'm sorry that you were offended. You know what I mean? That pushes it back on them instead of mea culpa. I did something. I did you bad. You know.
Well, you know, yesterday I had a situation where some gay fan of mine's on Not Famous's thread called me out and said that I had he saw me at Comic-Con San Diego, and that when I saw him holding hands with his boyfriend, I gave him a dirty look.
Oh, that's not true.
And walked away from the table, right? And well, I'm just okay. What I was trying not to do was just call him a liar, because I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to think. I was like, well, first, some people do say I have sort of a mean-looking countenance.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it. I was thinking about it, and I'm reading my. You can't see my face right now, but I'm reading my screen, right? And I'm thinking, you know what? I can't see past like 4 feet without squinting.
Yeah.
So if you put the things together, and then I don't know, maybe I had to grab something behind me. If the guy was just sensitive and took that as me like giving him a dirty look, and then turning away from him and snubbing him, and he said that I wouldn't shake his hand, but that is absolutely not true. I've never not shook somebody's hand, dude. I don't care what.
Well, then there's 2 and 2, all right, and you got to put 2 and 2 together. If you know you shake everybody's hand.
My point is that I did apologize. I mean, the guy has me blocked, so I'm sure he didn't even read it. But I did apologize if it came off that way. I'm not like, oh, I apologize if you were.
Yeah. That's honest. That's honest, because you're sorry for how he feels. You're sorry for how he feels. Sure.
Yeah.
That wasn't your intent, and you know that's honestly, if your intent is honestly not to cause harm, and you unintentionally, despite being true to yourself, you know, cause someone to feel bad and say, well, that wasn't my intent. You can I can get down with it. I can understand that. That's understandable.
Right. You stepped on somebody's toe. You didn't mean it. You apologize.
Yeah. I dig. Yeah, I was bummed. I was really, you know, it was very weird for me. It was very weird.
Well, Mike calls me Hot Rod because I get hot quick, right? And you know, I come off that way on text, right? Because sometimes when you go on Twitter, it's not like a conversation, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I could tell you what I'm about here, and it's going to come off very different than me responding to someone that some comment or something that made me mad, you know, and it's just like a completely different animal. And I'm trying to stay away from that animal because I have seen some of Mike's points. And you know, when you have this friend you don't want to disappoint, and you have these people you don't want to disappoint, and I don't really want to disappoint them because they've been, you know, nice to me, human to me, and I always appreciate that. So I've tried to tone it down and be less, you know, the hot rod. But you know, there's some people that don't want to be controlled, and they just want to be able to be themselves just as much as you guys want. And there's that.
And that's the thing is, I don't take them for granted. It's like I actually assume people are going to freely walk away, you know, from the campaign. And that's
no, but some will stay and disagree, like Bernard Shaw and J.K. Chesterton.
Yeah.
And be your friend, and it's like, look, I don't agree on that, but I agree on the other 99% of your what you say, so I'm staying.
Yeah. It creeped me out because I'm used to getting you know, massive boycotts against me and massive campaigns against me, going like, oh man, I'm just sitting here by a thread, you know. And
not at all.
And to me, there should be a comfort level of, if I'm wearing the Comicsgate name, it's not that I expect loyalty, but I did expect support. And so to get temporarily kicked in the nuts, I just went, well, you know, maybe there isn't so much support as I thought around here.
There's a little bit of hazing, you know, there's a little bit of memeing. There's a little bit of, not physical, but, you know, psychologically, we're used to creators. Oh, you said so-and-so, so you're a misogynist. You said so-and-so, so you're a racist. And they get like creators, people in positions of power and influence.
Well, what was neat was because I took a stand, and all that money drained out of my campaign, I got a personal email from Christians who said, I'm going to make up for whatever you lost right now. And they started sending me money. You know what I mean? It's like it ended up inspiring them to come in and cast their vote.
And those are all people, the people that came out and the people that went in are all people on that same stream.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree. Well, that's what's so weird is that certain people went out and then it triggered other people in that stream to come in. But I'm saying that they weren't largely the same people. Largely the people who
that went out will come back later.
Yeah.
So, and this is part of the magic of Cecil. Now, if you don't know Cecil, Cecil is love. I think you've spoken to Cecil, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I missed that one. I've almost seen all of your shows, but I think I did miss that one. And I want to say hi to Felipe Phil. You know, I hope he got that tan. I know he needed a tan. But the thing about Cecil is people would pay enormous amounts of money to troll them and tell him like horrible things, right?
Yeah.
And you see the names and the money that they're spending. And like a week later or a couple of days later, those same people would pay money to defend him.
Yeah. No, that's true. And that's I came into Comicsgate. I came into Comicsgate before my hazing, you know, my initiation came in. I launched a campaign. So imagine if Cecil had a campaign going when he first came in the room, it would be
brutal.
That's what it was.
Cecil's the first guy to bail on a campaign for the ridiculous reason.
Yeah, well, he was drunk, and sometimes when we're drunk, we like, you know, get offended a little more easy, or we get a little sensitive. And Cecil is like, I love Cecil.
Yeah, me too.
I really love sober Cecil. You know, sober Cecil to me is the best. He can have a couple of drinks, and you know, anybody can have anything in moderation, right? But sober Cecil is so smart and on point, and he'll go into so many different subjects. It's music, movies, comics, politics. Wall Street, because he knows about that stuff. I mean, business, right? He doesn't go into business a lot.
I'm going to get him on my show, and I just want to talk about Wall Street because that.
I would love to talk about Wall Street, especially the Indiegogos, because these people got to be doing overnight Swifts to the JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
But Kickstarter doesn't take that money in at first, which I think is dumb. Number one. Yeah. Number two, they're politicized, and number three, I just think they're not doing things smart. I don't want to dish Kickstarter because I know some people use it, so I don't want to go on that too much. But the business stuff about what we're doing, okay, I'm gonna get on a side trip. I believe you should all be companies, so you can have your creative control and some limited liability.
Yeah.
But I believe you should be a conglomerate when you approach printing, when you approach a game maker or something like that, you know, so that you can keep that creative control and that, you know, those property rights to your intellectual property.
Oh yeah, I'm
But
keeping
get
all
better
that.
deals.
I'm keeping all that. That's what I love about it. Hey guys, I appreciate your time here. I love getting to hang out with you guys. I gotta go do a parent teacher conference at school for one of my kids, if you know what I
Oh
mean.
well, you gotta do it. I understand. Family first.
Okay, hold on. Doug's leaving. All right, Doug, I got to take a phone call real quick. I'll be back in a second anyways.
All right, you're running the show now. All right, God bless you guys. Have a great day. It was great hanging with you guys. Anytime, anywhere.
Okay, you want me to stick around and just plug everybody? You know I love to sell.
Yeah, go ahead, Sketch.
All right, now what we're gonna do is we have many of us back Lone Star, right? And Lone Star is a great project, and if you haven't backed it, please do so. But I want you to search out, and if there are any wrenches in the chat, I'm not actually looking at the chat. I probably should. I want you guys to check out Mike's Patreon, because he does have a Patreon, and you guys should definitely check it out. Let me get into my Patreon. And so now what Patreon does, it can be a way to offset the cost of equipment, to offset the cost of this wonderful show that you guys tune into, right? So if you look at the hours of content that you spend when you come over here, right, the amount of hours, you're probably more here than on your Netflix, and you gave those people $10 a month. You're probably more here than on your Hulu, and you gave those guys around the same amount, right? So, you know, to be fair, Patreon, you know, $1 goes a long way. $5 is only 17 cents a day, you know, and for the amount of contact, this camaraderie, this feeling that you have, that you're a part of something, this ability to speak freely, right? Because on this chat, as long as you don't cuss, you're mostly free to think whatever you want, right? So knowing all these things, you know, you can show a little bit of appreciation, right? You can say, you know what, I like what you're doing. I believe in what you're doing. And it's not just about the comic, it's about you. And it's about helping you and your family and everybody get that equipment, get whatever is needed. And you can show that support. You can show it right now. You can head on over to Mike's Patreon. Let me look over here. Bear with me 1 second, folks. I'm gonna get in over here into the different Patreons. Mike S. Miller, here it is. All right, I'm gonna pull the page over here. So this is Mike's Patreon, right? Mike S. Miller is creating art, right? And this is an exclusive look. You're only gonna see it for a second, right? I believe these are open, but there's also patron-only exclusives. All right, I'm just gonna. You can't download this, right? This is a quick peek, right? Boom! There you go. You see that? Patrons only, right? Patrons only. Okay, so you know you can't download it like you would if you're a patron. You can't get that high resolution. But from what you saw there, you get some of this wonderful art. You get this inside, you know, track on the project. And come on, let's be honest here. You know, we can back this. This is something that's doable. As you can see, it's Mike S. Miller on Patreon, and you can head on over there. And you know, there's different ways to support. I also want to encourage people, encourage all of you to use the PayPal link when you're gonna send a donation. You can do the super chat, and the super chats are appreciated, right? But the thing with the super chats and the YouTube is they make Mike wait a certain time, and they take a larger cut, all right? And I don't want to undercut how important it is for you guys to support through super chats. I don't want to undercut that at all. It's very important, and it is supported because it lets YouTube see that this is a person that is, you know, beloved and supported, right? But if you want to make that, you know, make that contribution hit home fast, the fastest way is that PayPal. So you can also do that. I believe the link is in the description. Are you back, Mike?
Yeah.
The link to the PayPal is in the description, right?
Yes.
The link to the Patreon, that's in the description too, right?
I do believe so.
So you guys can head on down there, and you can make yourself a part of the, what makes this show also possible by contributing to that Patreon, and you can get patron only exclusives. And if you got that you got the Indiegogo, but you want to see a little bit more. You want to help these upcoming projects like Godsword and the Nuclear Family. One way to help that happen and happen faster is financially. I mean, finances, it's a tool. It's not, oh, money is evil, money is good. It's a tool, just like a baseball bat, a hammer, a gun, whatever. It's a tool. It's how you use it. And we know Mike does good work with his tools because we're seeing it. We're seeing it every day. So if you want to help Mike out, and you want to help support what he's doing here with these channels, and you want to support these upcoming projects, what you do is you head on over to that Patreon, you make that account, and you support the show. You make sure that the show has a good equipment. You make sure that these upcoming projects are well supported, and it's just ways to go beyond, because sometimes, well, I got the book. I'm already first battalion, second battalion. That's wonderful. Some people just you're not gonna buy 20, 50 comics. We would appreciate it. We send them to the troops. Well, not we. Mike does. I want to take credit. It goes to the troops. But there are different ways if you want to, and there's an inside track, right? This is a way that you can see that exclusive content, right? That maybe you're going to have some exclusivity within the first and second battalion participation, but if you want to get in on that now, you just head on over to that Patreon and just do that. So Mike is a very humble man, and it makes it kind of tough to self-promote. But I'm not at all shy about promoting Mike. I would take him everywhere with me if I could, and tell everybody how good this man is. So that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm doing right here. So I hope you guys check it out. Okay, you're back, Mike?
Yeah, what's your channel? Is it just Sketch Therapy?
Sketch Therapy. I was going to change it to Hot Rod, but I don't want to leave it just at Hot Rod. I want to add something to it. I'm trying to workshop a name in my brain for it. Hothead Rod. It might give me a bad connotation. I like Hot Rod, though.
Yeah. How about Hot Rod Sketch Therapy?
It's a little long.
Yeah.
It could work. That's the thing. I guess I could make it to work. Hot Rod Sketch Therapy. Yeah, I'll probably do that. That's probably a good idea. I've changed my name a couple of times.
Well, what is the focus of your channel going to be?
It was at first, before all of this, before The Last Jedi, before I knew of any of the gates, it was about like showing veterans what, sometimes you can use art as an alternative. Like I got a head injury when I was in the 3rd Infantry, right? In a vehicle accident. It wasn't like, like this combat thing, right? It was not an injury of war, but I was in a vehicle accident, cracked my head open, right? And for veterans, they try to get you on them pills, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be pilled up, you fear that kind of thing. Like, my father, he died of an overdose. So I was kind of weary of strong drugs. I'm like, if this is so good, he didn't want to be my daddy, then I don't want to touch him. Because I still want to be part of,
Dude,
life.
Turns you into a zombie.
I don't want to be a zombie, right? And it's because I always feared that kind of thing. I would always use, like you talked before of cognitive therapy, like, something that's more engaging, like getting to the root of the problem, one. Number two, dealing with it in a different way. So it's to dealing with anxiety and anger and all these things. Well, I would take my sketch pad or my iPad, and I would just, focus when I was at an appointment or when I had to go out or anywhere. I would just, make these drawings and just get so focused in my drawing. I wasn't drawn in by the movement around me, by all these other things. And that's what it was about showing people, look, maybe you can do some art, right? And deal with the situation, right? Deal with, sometimes you ever see Terminator 1 when he goes into a factory?
Heck yeah.
You know that when he sees too much movement, he kind of glitches out. It's like too much stuff is moving. That happens to me. I go into a place where there's a lot of people, a lot of movement, a lot of noise, and it just like I just tilt. I just start looking everywhere, and it gets to me a little bit, right?
Well, you must hate Walmart.
I must say what?
Walmart.
Oh my god! And it gets full here too.
Hell, that happens to me at Walmart.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you don't know all them people, and then people walking around. You maybe get too close. You're like, I don't know you, man. Stay away. That might just be a state of living right now. I mean, if everybody was going through that right now, then I would understand this tension in the air that everybody feels. But for us, it's a little stronger.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show that.
People in the chat think you should just keep it as sketch therapy, but I think you should introduce yourself as Hot Rod.
Yeah, have that both because you can have a channel name and a personal name.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, his channel Sketch Therapy. You know, Sketch has a lot of, or Hot Rod has a lot of good things to say on a lot of different subjects. So you know, go sub to his channel. I
did my first live stream where you can hear me talk. Most of what I have there is old art and me playing Titanfall, which I'm I throw the gauntlet down on that right now. But yeah,
where you just talk about all the stuff you talk about and play video games, it'll blow up.
I'm gonna try. I'm definitely. I did my first live stream. I got that Streamlabs because not because I want to profit per se, but I do recognize that it's a tool and I can get maybe better equipment and maybe play computer games. What I have now that I'm working on is a Pavilion, HP Pavilion. It has, excuse me, let me see over here. It has, I'm gonna try to see the RAM and all this stuff on it. And the processor. Okay, what do we have here? Blah, blah, blah. So I got it for like, I think it was $90 on Amazon, right? And it was supposed to bring Windows 10, but the Windows 10 wasn't working, right? So it's got 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a really old Duo processor, right? It's got only 4 gigs of RAM, right? But this baby can beat that expensive Mac of yours down. I'm trolling you a little.
This Mac is from 2010, or actually, yeah, I think 2010. So,
but this is like a cheap. This is like a $100 solution, and I got it a while ago too. This is a couple of years old, and it's upgradable. I can change the RAM and make it a lot faster. I can change. I'm trying to sell you on PC.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if you saw earlier. It's my freaking uploads speed that's so slow. That's not my computer. That's my service.
Yeah, but there's a benefit to having a computer that's for streaming separate from the one that's for your work. And if you can get a cheap one that you can just use for streaming, like I got I think I sent you a picture if I'm not mistaken on a video about it. I don't know, I'm not sure. I got one of those blue Snowball. I didn't get the Blue Yeti. I got the Snowball. It came with an arm, so I got this arm that's holding it. It comes with like a little filter. It's kind of nice. I got a couple of monitors for about $50 each, so I'm working on 2 monitors. I got like a $70 graphics card, so I can work with 2 screens. And I just use it for, I got it for at first I was going to use it for art. I got a little bit away from that and went into the tablets, and I'm getting back into the art, and I'm using it for streaming. So, and I got a $40 discount, right? I paid like around $100 for it, but it wouldn't activate. So I said, no, I bought a computer, and the computer is half software, half hardware, and I'm missing half here. So they gave me a $40 discount, and I bought a Windows key for, I think it was like, I don't know, $7, $10. And, I'm not Captain Frugal, but I'm kind of frugal, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't lead a squadron of frugal people, but I can be frugal. And it's nice, I'm going to start doing more live streams. I'm going to start talking to you guys more if you guys come over. And I want you guys to know that if you do that Streamlab and you drop a little money, I'm not monetized. I'll probably, you're tough to monetize me.
Well,
because,
it'll just take time.
Yeah, but Streamlabs put that money in my pocket every day. if I was going to get some money. And not that I'm about it, but the expectation. Will they monetize? Will they demonetize? Will they take? I'd rather just get it at the moment and get a higher percentage of it.
Right.
And it lets me show the super chat. This is something you can do too. It lets me overlay on the screen that I'm drawing the comments, so you can see the comments go up. I don't have it right now because I'm going in through Hangouts. But if you look at my first live stream, you can see that there. I went into a little bit of drawing and a discussion, a little bit about politics, and it was good. It was nice. I like the setup.
Right on. I'm glad you took everyone's advice.
Well, it's been a while, and when you know what they say, one person tells you something, maybe it's BS. Two people tell you, might be a coincidence. 3, 4, 5 people tell you the same thing. There's something to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should talk a little bit more, because if I just stay on Twitter, everybody's gonna think I'm just a crazy monster. And I don't want that. I don't want you guys to feel like that. I'm not even looking at the chat. I haven't been able to look at it yet. I kind of got into this. First, I got into that conversation with Doug, and I think it was a good one. We talked a little bit about the quantum physics and about science and about scientism, which I think is a conversation that should be had.
Did you hear what I was talking about with the Chuck Missler stuff?
Well, I'm not super familiar on Chuck Missler, though. I mean, maybe you could give me an overview of more or less what he's, what he's into, what his views are.
Well, Chuck he was a pastor. He passed away in May. But he was an engineer. He worked like on a bunch of top secret stuff, like for the government. He had several. He was CEO of several companies, like engineering and designing companies for,
Okay.
Gosh. He was basically he was a computer engineer, right? Hardware, software, whatnot, just like my dad. But he was much more successful on the business end of it, and he was a pastor. And what he really got into as a pastor was like the freaking nuts and bolts of the Bible. Like he would do these deep, deep dives into scripture, into the meaning of the Greek, into the history of the
etymology.
Huh?
The etymology, like some words we see it this way, but it comes from this, and to do with that.
A lot of stuff like that, but he would get into like super interesting stuff like that most people would just gloss over. And he was always fond of saying that, if you see something in the Bible and it seems like a contradiction, get excited, because there may be a treasure under there, and he will do these super like crazy deep dives into everything. So like one point, I wish I could remember the exact way it worked out, but he talked about how, it mentions, like, I think it's the in Isaiah when it mentions the circle of the earth or something like that. But in the Hebrew, you know how Hebrew, like every letter in the Hebrew has a numerical value. And somehow or another, like he did all this stuff, and like it created the mathematical equation that said that like this scripture, when you did the equation or something like that, it came out to 3.14. It came out to pi, and it was about the circle of the earth. So it's like there's these layers upon layers of information in the scripture, and he was always like digging and digging and digging deeper and deeper. And deeper.
Okay, so the Bible is not, it's decidedly against the flat Earth theory then.
Right. Well, a circle is a circle.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I dug his stuff, because he would get into that stuff, and it was just so interesting and so much deeper than any other teacher or pastor or anything.
I love that
He's got a
stuff.
lot of videos on like blueletterbible.org or on just on YouTube, and the one he does on aliens and the Nephilim is really good.
Well, I listen to this guy. Well, I used to listen to him a lot more than I do now. His name is Mark Pazio, and he used to be a priest in in the Church of Satan, the Anton LaVey people. And he saw that it was just morally bad and it wasn't good for anyone. It wouldn't be good for him or anyone on earth. They wanted like basically enslave the world. And, you know, to be an enslaver, you have to be enslaved. And he saw these things. He's like, you know what? I'm not down with this. And he started talking about things he saw on the inside and whatnot. And one of the things that he would talk about is like, look, you know, we can have all these theories, but it's food for thought. Right? And you got to be able to entertain a thought without fully believing it, because if not, you're going to reject things outright that might lead you down a path that leads to, you know, some good information. Now, he's a big believer in like a free speech, the right to self-defense, and the right to property, right? And that's my trinity, right? Because you have this trinity of God and the trinity of law. And as far as the hey, how you doing, Ro? Ro is here. Good to see you, brother. The trinity of law that I see in the constitutional republic, the things that I hold paramount above anything else is those three, that trinity: right to speech, right to property, and right to self-defense. Inside that, we could talk about anything. I believe what I believe, you believe what you believe. It's all cool, like just Chesterton and Bernard Shaw. And I really appreciate that about the guy. And he got into a little bit about the alien abandonment theory. And you know that there is this God that created everything, and there's other people that stopped by and left. You know what I'm saying? And that was his theory on it. And I'm doing good, bro. Rose saying how am I doing? And yeah, there are things. There are these weird places you can go down, but you know I don't discredit the Bible. So when I have someone that goes and takes deep dives, but he's like, you know, a person that believes in the Bible, I'm interested. I kind of want to check out this, you know, this Chuck Missler. I'm going to Google it right now because the name looks familiar. I might have seen him and not known it was him.
Well,
Because it
definitely.
seems interesting.
My wife, that was my wife that called earlier. I have to freaking feed the kids. So I'm going to cut this
I
off.
understand.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate Doug Apple. Everybody smash that like button. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe. We have fun, interesting conversations like this every day. We also have the Aloha Hour, which is usually around 9 or 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And so, yeah, Rod, say your
All right, I'm gonna say hi in the chat so you guys can see. That's my channel. I'm gonna start doing more live streams. If you want to know what I'm about promoting these good people. I'm the customer. I have the customer perspective, and these people protect my wallet. So help them produce good content, help their Patreon, subscribe to their channels, and just make sure you support them. And sometimes all you can do is some fan art and be on the Twitter with retweets. Do that. Do everything you can to support these people because they have a little bit of a voice and they're watching out for you.
right on. And with that, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.